Another blessed day, forever rising, giving all thanks and praise to the Most High. Yes, we up in this piece. It's your favorite Magi, Chaplain Eel, coming out for another video affidavit today. I'd like to give high honors where honors is due to my old earth, my mother Sani. I love you. My dude loves you. To my brothers, my sister, you know what I'm saying, my aunts and uncles, everybody from the Wingfield clan, Bay Band Family Trust, my Empress wife, Dr. Poetica Bay, and everybody from my seeds and my heirs. We're here for another Ask the Magi clip that we have, session rather, and we are gonna just rock out and see if we can get the brothers on the line. Are you there? We doing video affidavits over the years, as producers and members of the Artist Civic Association and Home Court Advantage Media, Poetica Incorporation, Poetica Inc., Young Broadcasters of America, Wampum Cinema, Moorish American Press Department, you know. So we've had different chambers of press and different organizational partners that we have. Goddess Mobile TV, out of Brooklyn territory, and we utilize these outlets and these partners to create video affidavits, and these video affidavits, you know, are useful when you have parties, in need of some real coverage and real press around what their claim is, what their case is. You know what I'm saying? You have to have your own media outlets, and the proliferation of the internet and even the YouTube. I remember in 2010, I would think around that time, CE, they wanted to end YouTube because of that fact of the access that people have in order to get information out there. And it is also a powerful piece of evidence of material that can be used as exhibits and attached to legal cases, because this is a published site, and these are published avenues of uh, expression of one's current status. And so the news is the north, east, west, and south. That's the information from all over. So when we do these testimonials and everything, there's a lot of times we have uh, celebrities and parents and spouses, power of attorneys, uh, and those who are custodians of others' estates, like trustees and whatnot, uh, in need of utilizing or being adequately reflected in the record, within the general public consensus. People need to know, period, point blank. People need to know what your status is, so that you will have more ammunition for your claims. One of our first video affidavits that we did was for a good brother of ours in West Shacamaxim, so-called West Philly, uh, wherein the brother had gotten beat up by six Romans, one main Roman and six staples rather was put in his head by one of the Romans, and they charged the brother with resisting arrest, of course, because that's what they do to justify them hurting you. They will say you resisted arrest. So they locked the brother up for 2 solar years. And we wind up putting a video affidavit for the brother together, putting one together for the brother. And we, at that time, it was DVDs was heavy, you know what I'm saying? And so this is our first video affidavit I'm talking about. That brother, we circulated his video affidavit at a couple court dates. We aired his video affidavit on various television networks in the Philadelphia territory and beyond, basically Atlantic City and different television broadcasting regions. And so we put his video affidavit out there and he was able to utilize it even vicariously. They didn't put it on as evidence in that particular case. They just didn't want us giving out free copies of it in front of the courthouse. So he did wind up getting released, and they wound up giving him a settlement eventually for $500,000 due to um, you know him being really beat down and injured by the hands of one of those Romans. You see? So if you just tuned in, this is the Ask the Magi segment of our Interfaith Chaplaincy. And this is our video affidavit that we do on an ongoing basis. And I'm explaining it. We're waiting for one of the brothers to come on now, Brother Yasir, and we may continue to do further video affidavits for different folks. Any of you out in the field, feel free to inbox us and hit us up, because it's very necessary. We've used the video affidavit recently even for different celebrities, musicians, and those who they make a lot of money, so to speak, and they're well known, and they want to pilfer from that. And so us producing the video affidavit the way we do, and is actually us as court officers in our ecclesiastical court, because we created the interfaith court, you know what I mean? We created these diversionary courts, so to speak, which are here to divert those cases into the proper tribunals that they should be in, because that law is not a cookie cutter affair. And so uh everyone has a right to a jury of their peers, so to speak. So this is how we've been able to create these venues. And so they have Zoom court a lot since the scamdemic pandemic kind of came out. And so people have asked us to do more of our sessions online. And then we really mainly stick to intake cases online, preliminary cases online, our Zoom court function like this. And also uh, we do video affidavits remotely online like this. And so we're still waiting. And then feel free to chime in if you have any invitees uh, that you would like, or questions that you have. We're going to see if the brother's here, what he's talking about. And tell him. Let me share this with him, because he looking like he don't understand that he has to come on the line. Let me see what he talking about. Let me see what he talking about. Let me see banners. Thank you for your patience, all of y'all out there. Boom, boom, boom. Let's put some banners up. Let's invite some folks. Invite guests. Boo. Let's see, we got that. Bang. So you should have that now. All right. So here we go. We got the guests. Bring them on. Add to the stage. All right. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and love, brother. How you doing?
Find yourself.
Oh,
Can you
praise
hear me well?
Allah. We already opened up. I don't know if you was tuned in, but forever rising, praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and giving honors to his heavenly host, giving honors to where honors is due, giving honors to you, brother, for coming out for this your video affidavit. And you know what I'm saying? I'm the magistrate M. Sufi Il, and we're here in Philadelphia district, and we operate our interfaith court, our Sharia law court, and whatnot. And we also protect those folks that are people of the book that are within our purview, that people that ask us for assistance from actual churches and whatnot as well. We operate mainly alternative family court for the last, let's say, since 2013 in different courthouses, but also we wind up training up a lot of clergy, imams, bishops, and different high clergy on how to utilize the same service and things that I'm doing with even with you in their own neck of the woods, because these folks have big masjids, big churches, and if they got it going on, they need to learn these processes. Because other than that, I wind up getting torn around the globe and having to go to too many places. And so we try to train up other clergy and other members that are just missionaries and longtime people of faith and of good reputation to become family advocates as well and become a part of our, Saints Brigade, so to speak. So this actual intake is for you to do your video affidavit intake, which today is so-called Monday, February 24th, 2024 CE Eastern Standard Time, correct? What is known as, what is that? 2214 hours military time. And you are your title and attribute is correct as Yasir. How do you pronounce it?
Yasir Fardan.
Yasir Fardan. All right, brother.
Good.
Well, it's great to meet you, Assalamu alaikum. And
Alaikum assalam.
what territory are you from as well, brother? What territory are you domiciling out of? That you
Um,
that you that you so-called reside in?
you mean city?
Yeah,
Springfield? Well, Springfield, Mass right now.
Springfield, Massachusetts. All right. So you do affirm to tell the truth in this video affidavit to the best of your knowledge and your ability, right? Correct?
Yes.
All right. All right.
Do
So with
I
that being
apologize.
said,
Because you said you are a magistrate. Do I address it as your honor?
not
Your
necessarily
honor.
because we all have honor. You can call me your honor, but you can say magistrate, either one.
Will I say my honor in court?
Yes, because the thing is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants honors to his prophets and also the Sahaba of the Prophet Salatu Salam. So with us being those who carry on that tradition, we get some honors in that too, because we're the ones actually carrying forth the deen to the four corners of the earth.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why we do have honors, because we're upstanding people.
Yeah,
So
it
they don't
seems
like that. They don't like that in their non-faith based system, secular system, because they want one person only to have honor, and that's not true. There's many people in the community. We encourage everybody over 52 to be able to be considered an elder and have honor. If they haven't done that by 52, is a problem. So they should be able to groom many different honors in our villages, you know.
correct.
So we were just stating that, what's making the video affidavit, you affirming on the record that you tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury. This is your official statement. So we were just getting that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, all
I
right.
apologize.
And so say it again.
I apologize. I interrupted that. I don't know if you when we start the affidavit, this is it now, or you
Yes.
start at a certain
Yeah.
point.
No, no, no. I'm starting right now because that's why I get the affirmation.
Okay.
Yeah, because other than that, I'm giving you an introduction. I'm giving you an introduction like we all often do in court, and they often do different tribunals. They have to tell the jury and everybody what the rules are at stake and what's going on before they even really get down to it.
All right.
So then I had opened up already, so I just reopened up since you came on. That was all. And so
Um,
I said, well, let me, reopen up. And then, so yeah, we're starting the video affidavit now. And for the record, what is the actual claim that you're having? Is it against, or are you dealing with threat, duress, and coercion, or are you dealing with any violations of your rights and immunities in that territory?
yes.
And is that the
Yes.
hands of the city organization, like the municipality, or is it more at the hands of the state itself?
I would say the state because that's who they have on the docket. They don't, it's supposed to be another living person in the courtroom. It never is. It's they always saying it's the state that's bringing these charges up against me.
I
The
find that
officer might be
extremely
the officer might
yes.
excuse me. The officer might be involved too, yeah, because he's making a report and his name is on the report. But as far as
However,
I believe I see it now, it's the state.
and so can you give me a recap on what day and time it was that you interfaced with them? Was this due to something they did to you on a spot somewhere? Or is it like we've had cases recently where they are sending people citations to show up in court from facial recognition from cameras and all this other dumb stuff? Is it you had an
Well,
incident that happened?
yeah, I believe these. I had three incidents that happened, and I believe the first one set off the second one, and then it was just there was just harassment. Because I'm spotting tinted out SUVs. They look like police squad cars, but they're not. They're just regular SUVs, but they got that black tint you can't see through it all, and they're like parked in front of me, posted up, and I spot them, and I'm not in a hurry or nothing to go nowhere. But I just one time at a gas station, I spotted one across the street from me, and I just sat there, and I was just wondering because the store that they were parked in, the parking lot they were parked in, weren't even open yet. So I sat there for a little while, and then I drove off. But they sat there, and then they drove off later. But they didn't drive off behind me or anything. But it was just odd that they pull up and just park right there across the street from me. But prior to that, I was pulled over by another officer, and he was just going at me blatantly like, "Oh, so you're sovereign," and I never stated none of that to them. So he just passed judgment on me and just took it out like that on me, and I called for a superior, got in We didn't get into anything. He wrote me the ticket. He towed my vehicle, but I think he was more upset how I signed the ticket back to him.
Now, was these both those dates similar time frames, or how many months or weeks was it between them?
We weren't too far apart. Um,
And is
there were
that like
no.
last year, 2024, or even further, those two incidents?
I believe it was like coming out of 23, going into 24.
So let me ask you: is Springfield, Massachusetts corporation, is they somewhat not a lot of melaninated indigenous people, no black folks, so to speak, or anything like that there?
I would
What's
say
their
there's a lot.
demographic?
I would say there's a lot, but okay, there's a lot of black and Spanish. Um, the mix you could tell is separated. Like blacks would stay up the hill, and the Spanish are more down the hill. Um, Caucasians sprinkled about. They know they got their section of the place. It's I mean, and I've done my study and research on the land in the areas, so I know how they taken over from the indigenous. Um, it's still
How
going
long
on.
have you been there? And how long have you been there? Are you born and raised there, or is this something that you moved there,
Yes,
your family moved there?
yes, I was here. I was born here.
You were born
Um,
there. So you're a great character witness for them, I would say, as far as, is it something where uh there's disproportionate, they're always harassing the same type of people?
yeah, I mean, you can see them. They'll pull out and stop a homeless person, and you'll see that and this person is known because they're homeless. They're in the street. They're panhandling. You can tell they need help in some type of way. Why they're arresting them, who knows? Nobody stops and get into all of that with them, but some is a lot of things going on. They arrest the younger. When I had to spend time in the jail, all I witnesses was young kids, all of them the ages of 23 and under. Even they had some old people in there. Like, why are you in here on crutches? Or you could tell you like you're just too sick
So
to even
they're
be in
getting
the.
over on people that are mental health and what they call the vulnerable population, the young and the elderly, because they're easy contracts to maintain.
Correct, correct. They
Those
don't go in there
people,
and they don't go in there and the legal backup that they have. They don't. You could tell that they put it in their hands. They don't use the law library, the access to the law library in there, the library in there. Everything is just like they made it so. And they even tried to cut some of the access to the law library. Like when I started, and I want to go in there frequently. Like I got to be in there 7 days a week since I don't have anything else to do. I got to get myself out. I feel like, or I didn't want to put so much pressure on my attorney because I'm thinking, there you go, you got so many cases.
you got to
Where you
do
gonna
some
find?
homework, leg work, because yeah, the public pretender it's two things. Sometimes they're pretending, but half of the thing is their caseload is heavy too.
I'm
So
thinking
you
that
in
too.
there trying to do that, and they're asking, do you can't even get to the law library?
Right? Because I start mailing stuff to my attorney. Cases that I'm finding and trying to help out. But there's only like out of pot of people, they got a pot of people, probably like 40 people in there. Out those 40 people, just imagine this: there's only 3 5 of us going to the library. So all
Right.
those other people are just ignorant to the facts that some of them are just shoot if they knew how to write stuff or even read, they can get themselves out. But they put all that responsibility on the attorney, and they're in there cussing out people and just frustrated and it's a mixing pot of it's a mess. If you don't got your head on right, then you just gonna go under. You put
Yeah, so
all
they
the
got that perhaps that industrial, and but you saying why you even in somewhere like that? You notice it's only young people that getting over and elderly. But then on top of that, if you the one free mind trying to get to service yourself, trying to help smooth, then now they blocking all of a sudden y'all couple three brothers can't get to the law library now all of a sudden.
correct. Yeah, there was a lot
So
of that going on.
that's a further claim and another thing, but that's great for us to highlight on this video affidavit. So I'm glad you mentioned that. When was the most recent incident? Because those incidents you said maybe came in during that January, during that changeover from 23 to 24. So maybe are you implying that the policy enforcers, the Romans themselves, remembered you over the time? It's the same small town antics or same people that work the same beat?
Yeah, I think they were in cahoots. I mean, I even thought the guy looked, they looked the same. I
Who you
don't want
mean
to be,
on both run-ins?
the officer. He just dressed him up in a different uniform. First the second pull, when they pulled me, it looked like he might have just transferred. So he didn't have a sergeant uniform. I don't think he was a sergeant yet. But then when he pulled me on the last stop, all of a sudden he's a sergeant now.
So they be kind of come up off of our misery. You see that? So
I'm
and
witnessing.
then and he witnessed you, or let's just say he wanted to label you sovereign citizen whenever you say any kind of freedom loving posture of having some kind of civic understanding of your rights and immunities. He label you, give you a label. So now it look like he's
He
gotten
labeled.
promoted somehow.
I guess in another way he labeled me that too because he's looking at my tags. I have traveler
Ah,
tags on my vehicle.
do you have a picture of
So
him? You got to send us?
yeah, I have a picture.
Okay, well, yeah, let's send that to me another time then later on. Um,
Okay.
unless you can, yeah, whenever, text it or email it to us. Um, do you remember that officer's name, that Roman's name? Because most of the time they're not civil servants and they're not officers in true sense. They weren't elected. They're working for the de facto. But at any rate, do you know do you remember his name or badge
Apostle.
number?
Apostle. I don't remember his badge number off the top of my head. I mean, I got my police report
How do
right
you
here. I can
spell
look at
apostle?
it. APSTOLE.
Oh, like
Apostle.
regular apostle, like the regular spelling of like APO apostle STLE.
ST. No, no.
You have your paperwork handy?
Yeah.
Look in your paperwork real quick. Just pause for a second because it's important. Bring this person's.
How we pause it? How we pause it?
No, no, no. Just put the phone down for a second if you got to. If your papers were there nearby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
Just put the phone down for 1 second. Let me see. I got you. Uh, and just jump back on. Yeah, if you just
Right.
tuned in, if you just tuned in, you're tuned in to our Philadelphia Interfaith Court, and I am your favorite Magi Chaplain Eel, and this is our video affidavit intake, the video affidavit for our brother Yasir Pardayan, and on this so-called Monday, so-called February 24th, 2025 CE, in regards to his rights and immunities being violated in Springfield, Massachusetts Corporation territory by their policy enforcers and interlopers. Feel free to inbox me and email me, inbox me here if you want to have your case heard between another uh, person that is an actual individual, or especially when your rights and immunities are violated at the hands of the corporations. We, as ecclesiastical court, theocratic ecclesiastical court, we operate our interfaith archdiocese, and we are here prosecuting and persecuting and using the scales of justice. Myself, I'm a magistrate, Mahdi Sufi Il, and I've operated the actual interfaith court, which is our faith-based family court system here in the United States of America Federation. And also, we have our angel advocates portion of the court of what we're doing here, because often there are cases that are not between wife and husband or dealing with the direct family court situations that arise and claims, but they are there are nationals and there are believers, there are knowers, and there are good people who are having their rights violated by corporate interests who are giving them duress and coercion in order to contract further with them and molest their rights and immunities. So this is one of the times that we provide a video affidavit, and for the record, on the record, let the record reflect the rights and immunities and the claim of the brother Yasir Fardan to be notated here and on usable as exhibit abroad, as this is a published uh, outlet for news, according to the executive orders that they have passed over the past 10 years in regarding to the internet communications, which allows them to do their Zoom court, which is what they do in every jurisdiction. And I myself not only served as magistrate from 2013 to 2022 under the power of the Holy Quran of Mecca and the Holy Bible, but also graduated and got my commission to be a arraignment court magistrate, uh, by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Supreme Court Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in 2022. So it's been an honor to get the commission from the Supreme Court and learn some of the actual policies and procedures, and have the opportunity to get that job at the Philadelphia Municipal Court if I so choose to. But in the meantime, it is my duty and it behooves me to assist others, such as the brother, to be able to defend themselves and propagate their righteous lifestyle and culture as protected in the United States Constitution, which bars their agencies from encroaching into our personal life when we exercise our rights and immunities along those lines. So the brother is back, and we're going to reconvene and to continue. So the incident at question now is what date that you're having, or are you, you had the two, you led up to this one now, you're stating.
No, this is right now. This is the second one. It's the
Okay.
second stop, and I'm running into this
Are
officer
these
again.
all vehicle stops? Because that's what I'm striving to get.
Correct.
I thought you may have been walking.
Correct. The vehicle.
These are all three of these are vehicle stops. Got you. Continue.
So the first stop was supposedly that my inspection sticker was out of date, and that led to my vehicle being towed and a written citation. So I took the citation and proceeded to try and get my truck back. And the officer that pulled me over, he went ranting on about me being sovereign and And I didn't understand that in the beginning. I didn't. I had to do my research on that, and I felt like, why would I mean? What's so bad? What was so bad about being that? You know, he was just
Interesting.
downplaying it. He was, yeah. I was like, well, you should be claiming it to yourself, right? And we didn't get into it back and forth like that and anything. So uh, he got his way. After I had him get the supervisor stood across the street. He didn't come over and ask my name or a session. He just had stood across the street, and about six other officers came and assisted him inside of my
Hold
truck
up,
door.
pardon me, you're breaking up a little bit. Are you in a good signal area?
Sorta. It's not. It's not that.
Interesting.
Can you still hear me? So the he was joined
Yeah.
by like six other officers, and now I'm really scared to this point right now because this is my first time really just how do you say it, not dealing in commerce, commercial. I'm trying to break free of that, and I'm reading on my rights and things, and I believe we have all rights to travel, and I was exercising those rights, and in between me doing that, this officer, he didn't. I think he didn't. He had his own reasons for not liking what I was doing, and once he found out that that's how I travel,
Mm.
it and how I returned his citation to him, um, that made him switch to another. But I don't even live in that city though, because the second time he stopped me, I got stopped in West Springfield. But there's a thing about West Springfield. Is a city that kept stopping me. West Springfield don't wear cop cams. Springfield cops do. I had
Hold
no
on, this
problem
is so
driving around.
wrong. Oh, I can't hear you. I need this right here. You need this. You said in West Springfield they don't wear body cams.
Sure don't. No, I swear to you, they roll like you act like everybody and shrug their shoulders like therefore I do what I want. It's all against it. It was just that morning when I was driving. I was preparing to go home because the weather. The weather was really bad, and they stopped me and when I was traveling and they stopped me and it was just from there on it was just downhill, and that's what just kicked my train off into law. Um, Come to find out, half of them don't practice their jobs right. They're looking for who knows what they're looking for. They just looking for and if sometimes it might be like a profile thing, you know. You walk in,
That's
you
why
got
I
a
was
bad
asking you in the beginning. Like, did you think it was profiling to start out with?
yeah. Um, I my work truck. I have ladders on there, a bunch of tools. It's a decent truck. I'm a mechanic. I fixed it. Um, but the way it looks like I might have brought it off the shop or the dealership. You know, a nice used vehicle, sort of. If I clean it up, almost brand new. But in my city, you just don't see brothers like me trying. You know, you don't. You most of them you'll probably see. Like they hanging around a block or they up to no good or they just nobody want to work. And if they do
Now, you
want to
got
work,
the officer's name, by the way. Did you did you
yeah,
find some of your papers?
I have it here. It's Apostle. AP. I just have his name right here. And he was a lieutenant. It's Apostle. Apostle. He's the one that I'm thinking that first stopped me. But then I asked my attorney, is this the same person? And she told me no. But then again, like my trust is thin with her. It's like,
However, you
I
can
want
look
to
at the
say,
original paperwork to see though.
yeah, I think I had did, but I didn't. There was 3 police reports, and I only got down to 2 now. So can't remember if my attorney my attorney gave me a copy of the third one, because that case I got dismissed. I can't remember the change to that gave me a copy of that though. But that was the reason why I didn't get a copy of it, because it was already dismissed, and I just
Now,
recently got a
possible
copy.
he one that gave you the test citations both times
And the last two, yep, on the last 2 stops, yeah.
on the
The
last
very
two.
first one,
First one was
yeah. The first one, I'm not sure. The first one, that's what I'm saying. It seemed like these are the same officers, but I don't have a police report to put a name with a name, or so I'm not too positive
so
about
you
that. But
know it's
for
like
the
Agent
last
Smith. Yeah, I know what you mean.
one, yeah,
When that Agent Smith jump into somebody in the Matrix, they all turn in looking the same at that point.
that's funny. The
So
last two, but the last two, he definitely took a big play in it, because off the radio, he was like, okay, on the last stop, a sergeant stopped me. I didn't know he was a sergeant, but when he stopped me, it was a black officer. He was a immigrant. I could tell he wasn't from here. So his understanding of the law over here, I cannot, it can't comprehend to me that I think that he would know it. So, and I'm asking him questions, and he's shaking his head no, and he doesn't want to reply back, or he doesn't have an answer back. So I asked him to get his superior. But before that, he had already called on the radio and said that he's pulling somebody over with traveler tags. Now, Apostle so-called hears this, and he's so-called at the station and replies back to him, what's your location? I'll be there. Shoot, he was there, and I know where the station's at, where they pulled me at. That wasn't the distance, that, because he had to go around the rotary, and I mean, to get there as fast as he did, he would have had to hit his lights and his horn or whatever, and it flew over there that fast. But it's still, he had to go down a rotary, go down a one way. It
so
would took him like
basically,
a
most
good.
likely he was nearby.
He was very nearby. Yes, he was close, and I think he put this officer up to it, because I know some of the law that I've read now, you cannot convict a person on the same, or charge a person on the same thing that you've already charged them on. And this wouldn't be that would be his second time pulling me for the same thing again. So he knew he couldn't do it. So he got another officer to do it, and he
Well,
was so
it's not that you can't do it because if it's a different incident of a particular infraction or whatever, then it's a different incident. But the point is, he probably know that he's making a track record of profiling you, so he don't want that to be known possibly. So he rather put somebody else up to it instead of being on the record. Because once it's on the record, you can just start pulling it. You could show that this person bullying you, so to speak.
okay. So
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's more that I can understand what you're saying or implying, but it's most likely it's not because he can't do it for the second time because it's supposed to be it's another day, another incident. But they definitely try to be slick. Let me get somebody else so he won't. Because it's man, that's terrible. I only could imagine what you're going through with that. Because
yeah, for the
they're up
same.
north Massachusetts. Like, go ahead.
No, go finish.
Yeah. So at this point, we need to well, one, we hear, I'm ruling on it to say that yes, this is a good case for us to actually advocate for you in your situation. I always take an intake to make sure it's not even a separate situation. A lot of times people swear they having a problem with one aspect, and really I just help solve it on another way, and I'll be like, yo, this, you don't even want to do it. But if I'm understanding you properly, they got a case on you now, and they didn't drop it. They just keep going with it because they have a
Yeah.
new incident, correct?
Yeah. Correct.
Now,
Right.
this is the third stop. Now, and after that, same guy it seems. However, he seems to be a lieutenant now. And
Yeah.
whether it's him or not, it's the same general precinct, same township, same area.
Yes.
All right. Now, the current case they have against your straw party, what is the so-called charges or claim?
Resisting arrest, A and B on a officer, um, refused to identify self, plate violation, and unregistered motor vehicle.
And that's for the last one. And
Nope. The last
what
one.
kind of, yeah, that's for the last one, correct?
Yeah, and I got, hold on, but I had a concealed weapon with me.
So what was that? What did they put that as a charge?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, because my
So they put,
I have a FID card when it expired,
what's FID card?
so we
The
were
federal?
going on the fact that the firearm card.
Oh, all right. Who issues it?
This the city. I had to go to the police station.
So according to their policies and customs, they had you go to the police station to register for this firearm FID.
Right.
Is it that it's expired? Is that why they're what's their problem with it then?
Well, um, then the gun that they had found with me would have been registered. I could have, I could have been registered to that gun, but it wasn't active, and it was a family
You
thing.
mean you mean the card? For them, the card had expired. Basically, they were saying.
Right.
Oh, okay. So they know that you got the credential, but it's expired, and then they gonna charge you like, oh, it's expired though.
Yeah, but that's that. This affidavit right here that you're sending to, I'm gonna have for I'm gonna inshallah have it for the Friday trial, so we won't be mentioning the gun one. This is the
Yeah,
second
we're
one.
gonna take this. We're gonna take this video, and then we're going to do another 30 minutes where we just talk about the bullet points.
Okay.
This one right here, I have to have everything you say on the whole storyline so I can even determine if you have a good claim or not, first of all. And then once I determine, oh, this brother has a real claim, they violated him in different portions here and there, then I have to take what you're saying now and write a bullet point, like let's say 10 to 12 to 20 clauses or statements. When we read those statements off, it might only take you 15 minutes to read that off, and then that will be the affidavit itself. This is the intake portion where I collect all the facts that need to be typed up.
All right.
Because then I'm going to go back and make sure, and the clerk will have it processed into, an affidavit, a page or two, front and back sheet or something. And email that to you, and then you can utilize that as your affidavit, get it notarized on the spot where you're at. But also, we'll come back and you'll basically kind of like read it off, for lack of better word, even though we're not really going to read it off, but it's almost like that short 20-point bulletin will read off. You'll come before the court again. I'll give you your affirmation, and then you'll read off on this particular day. Talk about the last incident, right? And you'll say, Officer Lieutenant Apostille, blase, blase, blah. Point one. Point two, blase, blase, blah. And then that'll be it. Cut short. You see?
All right.
So this is our intake, because trust me, a lot of times I solve people's problem. I have an intake like this, and then I tell them, this is not necessarily a good case. I'm going to make a phone call on your behalf and to make this go away. Or I'm going to do such and such and have that service come to you, be provided. So a lot of times people think they have a certain kind of case, and it's really slightly a different kind of case. It happens all the time. So now I'm ruling that this is a valid case for our Allah's angel advocates, for our advocates to come and assist you with, as friends of the court, to their court, and be able to advocate and represent you as your own peers in body politic, coming from your nation, coming from your faith, from your actual faith tradition. And so that's what that is. So I just need you to basically, I will talk to you in recess. You'll give the clerk, you'll email us the copy of that summons they gave you, so we can have just the little bullet points. I don't need you to take time to read off their address and courtroom number and stuff. You know what I mean? So you can send that to us so we can finish the affidavit. So that way, sometime following noon tomorrow, we'll schedule with you at an open time frame that we can just do that 20, 30 minutes, just do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just read off the affidavit that we finalized.
Okay.
Yeah, because we don't send them the intake interview for the affidavit now. We utilize portions of this, might make it into the final draft, but not all of the conversation that we have to have between you and the court, right? We're not sending them this clip per se. It's this clip in this particular intake session. It's all right, because if you sent this to them, they would have to eat it. However, they would still have to sift through a lot of other talking. And so when we do when we draw up the affidavit, then inshallah, when you read it all, we read it all, boom, right? That's sweet and to the point. And that'll be basically 5-10 minutes straight and to the point, without any of the backstory or any of the explanations and all that. We say that for court where either they dismiss it or you get to wear them out with it.
Okay.
But it does what you said, is whenever you're in a situation, you have a public defender, this is your portion, your investment in yourself to do a lot of the legwork and homework, because he's not or she's not going to be able to do it one way or another. They're going to be swamped. They're not going to have the motivation. They work there with the rest of the court officers, prosecutor, judge. They could be a good person and everything, but they ain't necessarily trying to ruffle no feathers with nobody who would stand on 10 toes down about their rights and immunities. They just consider that to be extreme anyway. They think everybody's supposed to be a slave in 2025. Who knows why they still feel that way? But they still thinking people are not reading and writing, and that we're all just consuming these negative entertainment. We're all into living in that kind of stereotypical fashion. So here you come reading and writing and have a little bit of pride about your civic rights and immunities. They're like a little myth, as if you're uppity. The activist, well, why are you, what? No, this brother Yasir Fadan, he's expressing to us he is in dire need of his basic level rights and immunities to be honored, so that way when he is living in accordance to nature and accordance to his cultural traditions and practices, he's not profiled for it by being the only Asiatic, the only melanated person, looking like he's walking around and he's conscious. He's a free thinking man. So yeah, we honor you for that, and this is their prayer for relief, for their opportunity to cure the situation, because we are going to put these intakes and video affidavits on TV and radio and promote uh, their demise for what they're doing. They should not get elected into office as those judges. They should be quickly challenged and complaint a few affidavits from people like yourself in that county. Those people have to get the inspector general phone calls and all these things that we have to give people some pointers on how to get the oversight on them. So this will conclude portion one, and please email me and email us that summons so we can just put the affidavit, help draft it for you, and you can finalize it sometime within the next 12 hours really, because we need to get it to you so that way you can have it, mainly because you have till so-called Friday. So that means that you need to put this on the record on so-called Thursday.
Yeah. You said
So
the summons.
go ahead.
That's the paper they give you in court, right?
Yeah, the paperwork you was about to read off of, or you were reading off of.
Oh, the police report.
Police report, the summons that they give you to tell you what time and day, courtroom, the charges, all of that kind of stuff.
Um,
You know what I mean? All the court paperwork, they tell you where and when and what they're supposed to be charging the state versus you and all of that kind of stuff.
um,
All the
yeah,
docket paperwork.
I think my attorney got that.
Do you
I
got
just
any? Do you got any? Find out some details on it.
yeah, this
The paper you was reading off was the police report,
yeah,
but that does have the day and time and all of that. So,
the incident, yeah.
what day and time was that on the police report?
Um, 10/9/23.
10/9/23. So this has been lingering since then. That was the third one.
This was the third one.
This is the third one.
Get the date on the other one. I can't read his writing. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, so that might have been the second one then, because this one I'm reading the date is 4/4/24.
Okay, that makes better sense. That makes more sense to be I say more recent.
Yeah, that was the second one.
4/4. All right. So yeah, make sure you send me those police reports so we can write it up. Do you have availability within tomorrow afternoon?
I can make it. What time? I make
Yeah.
myself available.
All right. Make sure. I'm about to text you our email, and Yes, take good pictures of them if you ain't got no, I don't know,
This
Xerox machine. Oh
that's a
yeah,
picture of
send
my.
me all of that.
All right.
Send me all of that, and we'll convene tomorrow afternoon, inshallah, when at the time that we're available, and then we'll go over that bullet list, the opening, the caption, the affirmation, hit the bullet points. Maybe I don't know what it'll come to, but we're imagining 20 points or so, and wrap it up, and then that's what'll get boiled in and shrink wrapped. If we have any evidence, pictures, other affidavits of your status, your plates, all of that, I'm going to need you to email copies of all of that to go into the final draft, final version.
Okay.
All right. So one love to you, honors to you for taking a step to defend yourself and keep your way of life going. As long as it's in accord with the Constitution, which it seems to be, we can't continue to allow them to retaliate and bully us because we're being freedom loving nationals. They're not the only ones that get to say, "Oh, no, enforce the Constitution." No, that applies. That applies to us. We. The Constitution is not applied to people, but it applies to the corporations to tell them who they can interface with and how much they can interface with people. You see? So if you just tuned in, this was our Ask the Magi session of the Philadelphia Interfaith Court, aka our chaplain's court, with I, the magistrate, M. Sufi Il. And I'm here with Brother Yasir Fardan and his video affidavit intake. And that concludes session 1 on this Monday, so-called February 24th, CE at 11:02 Eastern Standard Time. And we look forward to being back here to complete the session number 2 tomorrow at some point. All right. Peace and prosperity. Peace and love to you, brother. And I'll call you a little bit later. All right. Have a good one. Islam.